Okay, so from the beginning, this channel is about helping people relocate from wherever they're at to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now, we love working with locals, of course, moving around the area. However, people moving to the area is kind of our jam. In this video, we're going to hit the top 10 questions that people ask when they move to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Question number one is, will home prices come down? To be honest, I don't know. However, what I do know is that overall, the Chattanooga housing market is very, very stable. Even without the, post-COVID boom, 2020, 2021, the whole real estate market craze, even without that, housing has seen pretty much a 3% appreciation year over year here in Chattanooga. So it's very steady and it's very stable. Now, I talk a lot on this channel about Chattanooga being one of the more affordable cities to live in all of the US. And although that still remains true, especially when we're talking about overall US averages and comparing Chattanooga cost of living to other major cities in the United States, Chattanooga still wins on the cost of living front. However, housing prices are continuing to rise. So the question becomes, how affordable is housing in Chattanooga really? So check this out. Even with the rising interest rates that hit the 6s, 7s, and even 8s at one point, right now we're sticking to the high 6s and low 7s currently. However, with those higher interest rates, it really didn't affect the housing prices that much. A lot of that has to do with, number one, the rise in demand, but also the lack of inventory. Now, a big place where we're seeing our buyers win is getting a lot of, if not all of their closing costs paid for by the sellers. Now, because they have these massive concessions, they can either use that extra cash towards equity in the house to put a bigger down payment on it, or they can use that cash for renovations with the home as soon as they move in, or just to keep. But the big thing is rate buy downs. If you don't want a 6 to 7% interest rate, then you can buy points. You can use the seller concessions that, again, the seller is paying for to put towards those rate buy downs, which will help with your monthly payment. It'll lower it quite a bit. Now, what I'm personally seeing with the real estate market, it seems like there's actually a higher demand for resale homes than new construction. That's why we see so much new construction inventory and not much resale inventory. So for example, I helped out my clients, Jen and Bobby. They actually moved here from Sarasota, Florida, and they were looking for something in the $700 to $1.4 million range, which I know is a big difference in price. However, that's kind of what we need to stretch our budget to in order to find exactly what they were looking for. They wanted a little bit of land, a little bit of privacy, talking 1 to 3 acres, right? Which, isn't an incredible amount of land, but it is enough to help with some privacy, right? We were looking originally in Signal Mountain. We ended up finding an older house. It was a custom built house. It wasn't too old. I think it was a 2013 build, but that house was listed for 1.1, and we actually went into a multiple offer situation and got it at 1.25. They're super happy with it. They love it. They love their 3 acres and they love the deer that run across their yard every morning. However, that's kind of the situation that we're in, where some resale houses that are built well and they're priced extremely well in good areas, we're still hitting those multiple offer situations. However, we are seeing a lot of inventory on the new construction front. Now, there's still plenty of demand for it, but because there's more inventory, there's more supply, they're just sitting for a little bit longer. It's very interesting to see that those resale houses that aren't too old, I'm talking, 2000, 2005 to 2020, those ones, if they're priced accordingly, they've got a little bit bigger lot, they are moving extremely quickly. However, when it comes to new construction, you have many more options to really dial in exactly the area that you want to be in and some customizations here and there. Now, I recently helped out a couple, Belen and Ricardo. They actually moved here from Hawaii. We ended up finding them a new construction house from a smaller boutique builder in Ottawa. And to help with the affordability aspect, we actually got all of their closing costs paid for, which helped them with their cash to close and just have a little bit more money and flexibility with that money as soon as they bought the house. Now, if you're looking for a house with land, I'm talking an acre plus, it's actually very difficult unless your budget is $800,000 or more. Even then, even with the higher budget, inventory is pretty limited, so you may struggle a little bit. Most buyers end up having to compromise on home size, acreage, or location. Seems that the more rural you get, the farther away from the city, the more affordable your options become. Now again, comparing the housing affordability to places like Nashville and Atlanta, yes, it's going to be more affordable to live here overall. The only difference is you're gonna have less inventory here in Chattanooga than those bigger cities. That's probably going to be the biggest struggle. However, once you do get into a place, overall affordability is going to be much better than those bigger, more major cities. And guys, if you've not figured it out already, I am a licensed realtor here in the Chattanooga area and all over Tennessee. And so if you guys are looking to move to this area, please feel free to contact me in any of the ways down below, and I'd be absolutely happy to help you out with any of your real estate needs. Next question, number 3, is, are there any hidden gem neighborhoods in the Chattanooga area? And my answer is, of course. 4 of my favorites are Collegedale, we have Appison, we also have Red Bank, and St. Elmo. Collegedale actually sits within Ottawa, and it's a very quiet, family-friendly area. It's home to Southern Adventist University. It's actually one of the safest little towns to live in Tennessee. Appison is just south of it and has a lot of the same qualities. And then you have Red Bank, which I think Red Bank is one of those hidden gems that's still kind of flying on the radar a little bit because of its proximity to downtown, and like it's super affordable. It's not like North Shore, where in order to get into North Shore at this point, you need a budget of at least $600,000. You can still actually get into something in Red Bank at an affordable price. And it's super close to downtown. We're talking 5 to 10 minutes. The next area is St. Elmo, which is a really cool, charming, historic little part of Chattanooga. I love it because it's right at the base of Lookout Mountain, so your access to those outdoor activities and beautiful views, it's super convenient. It's also convenient to downtown, which is going to be like a 5 to 10 minute drive. Some of the more local hangout spots is going to be the Walnut Street Bridge, Coolidge Park, which is super close by, and then you have Renaissance Park as well. And then you also have Bluffview Art District, which all of those are pretty much right in the downtown area. A little bit farther from downtown, but not too far, on top of Lookout Mountain, you have Sunset Rock. That is a really cool spot that many locals go to pretty much every day of the week to watch the sunset. It's a beautiful spot. In my opinion, the second best spot for the sunset in Chattanooga, or in the Chattanooga area, because number 1 is actually Chilhowie Mountain Overlook. This place is absolutely spectacular. Now it's a little bit of a drive, about 45 minutes east of downtown Chattanooga, right at the base of the Cherokee National Forest, but it is totally worth the drive. You get a view of the Ocoee Lake and then the Appalachian Mountains beyond, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The next question is, where are the good schools in Chattanooga? Now, believe it or not, despite what you see online, Chattanooga actually does have some of the best schools in the state and even in the nation. However, there are pockets where you're like, yeah, these schools are just not good, right? Like, what in the world? However, some of the more standout schools, the more top-rated schools, include Signal Mountain, the Signal Mountain School District. We have East Hamilton on the east side of the river as well. We got Ottawa schools, and then if we move further east to the next town over in Cleveland, Cleveland City School District actually has one of the top-rated school districts in the state as well. Now, where Chattanooga really shines is their magnet school and private school system. We have STEM School of Chattanooga, we have the Chattanooga School for the Liberal Arts, we have the Chattanooga High School Center for Creative Arts, and we also have Battle Academy. And when it comes to private schools, we're talking nationally ranked private schools. We have Baylor School, we have Macaulay, and we also have GPS, or Girls Preparatory School. Now, another question I get asked a lot is there a good homeschooling community in town? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So if you are on Facebook, I definitely suggest going and checking out the Chattanooga Moms Facebook page. You can find a ton of different information about events in Chattanooga, as well as the homeschooling community. It's huge here in the area. My wife, she's pregnant with our son. He's gonna be born in May. And once he's grown up a little bit, we are going to homeschool. It's one of the reasons why we love the area, is just because of the homeschooling community is huge and it's widely accepted. And you don't have to compromise on different resources, co-ops, and sports. That's still easily accessible if you are homeschooling your kids. Next question is, how should I prepare for weather? Okay, so Chattanooga does have 4 seasons. We have a mild spring that usually is kind of our rainy season. We We have our summer, which is very hot and humid. We have our fall, which is very, very pleasant. Then we have winter, which is my least favorite time of the year. Springtime, I hear complaints of people who struggle with allergies. During spring, that's when we have the highest pollen count. It's not really something that I struggle with, but I do hear complaints of people who do struggle with allergies that have to do with the pollen count. Now, springtime is also where we have the highest likelihood of a tornado touching down in the area. And a subset question that I usually get from that is, hey, I want a house with a basement. Is that super unrealistic, or do I really even need a basement? The answer is maybe, and it all really just depends on personal preferences. The last tornado touched down back in 2020, spring of 2020. And so that's coming on 5 years ago now. So they definitely do not happen very often. However, it is something that you need to be aware of. Now, just, doing a little bit more research, like tornadoes happen everywhere. And I do believe that the mountain ranges that are super close by Chattanooga maybe break up those storms a little bit. But if you are within the valley, that's probably where you are most susceptible. Now, during summertime, we have very hot and humid summers. And we don't have the beach just to go and lay out and suntan and cool off in the water. However, we do have lakes and we have boats. And boating season is awesome. It's my absolute favorite. We also have a ton of creeks and blue holes to cool off in as well. Now, when it comes to fall season, that's also one of my favorite times of year just because it is so pleasant. It's absolutely beautiful outside with the fall foliage, and it's just a beautiful scenery. Now, come winter time, it's my least favorite time of year because I hate the cold. Recently, pretty much across the country, this has been a crazy winter season. It's been so cold. I think right now, this morning I looked and it was like 15 degrees. It was just dumb, and I can't stand that weather. However, typically we will see temperatures in the 40s, 50s, lower 60s, especially when the sun is out. It's beautiful. A lot of times it's beautiful in the winter. However, we do have those cold, rainy days where it's cloudy. It's probably going to be actually a little bit more sunny than it is cloudy. I would say like a 55, 60 sunny versus like a 40, 45 cloudy. The winters here are mild for a winter. However, it's not going to be a winter like South Florida by any means. Next question is, how accessible really is the outdoor recreation here? Well, they don't call this place the Boulder of the South for no reason. There is a ton to do when it comes to the outdoors, and it actually is super accessible. Now, it really all depends on where you decide to live in the immediate area that you're living in. However, if you're living on, the west side or north of the river, you have the Cumberland Mountain Range right there. Right? That's where, a lot of your hikes and blue holes are going to be. Or you can go to like Prentice Cooper State Park, where a lot of your off-roading is going to be. A lot of people go and hunt out there as well. There's also very nice hikes. And then you also have state parks and national parks all around you. Now, some of the most popular activities that people do here, mountain biking, that's a huge one. We have rock climbing, hiking, basic hiking. There's hikes pretty much everywhere on the east and the west side. If you're just like looking for a beautiful view and a nice drive, you got Lookout Mountain, you got Signal Mountain. And then if you go over to the east, like I said before, you have Chilhowie Mountain Overlook. So it's pretty much, it's all around you. That's one of the biggest appeals to Chattanooga is its geography. Pretty much everywhere you go. Like, for example, I'm living in East Brainerd right now, and I live in a house that's pretty much on top of a ridge. And I have a pretty nice view of the city. Although it's not like on an actual mountain like Signal or Lookout, there's still opportunity to get views pretty much anywhere you go. If you're closer to downtown, people love rowing in the Tennessee River. You can also paddleboard or kayak. You can also walk, run, or bike on the Tennessee Riverwalk, which provides miles and miles of trails. And you can do even more unique activities like go hang gliding off of Lookout Mountain, or go explore the caverns and caves out in Raccoon Mountain Taverns. Next question is, what are some of the more convenient areas to live if you want close accessibility to downtown? Okay, so there are a few places. We'll go north of the river and just continue south. Number one is South Hickson. We also have Red Bank, which we talked a little bit about earlier, still super affordable. Same with South Hickson, super affordable compared to the rest of the Chattanooga area essentially. So we got South Hickson, we got Red Bank. We also have North Shore, which is going to be your more trendy area. We've seen a ton of appreciation in this area just because of its charm, its character, and its super close accessibility to downtown. You also have South Side, just south of the river. This is where you're going to have most of your restaurants, your bars, your more urban life is going to be in South Side. Now in South Side and St. Elmo, we're seeing a lot of revitalization. So we're seeing a lot of these older homes get renovated, and we're also seeing a lot of new construction in these areas. And all these areas are very, very walkable. Now the next area is actually Lookout Valley. We're gonna see a lot of opportunity for appreciation in this area as well. Lookout Valley houses the biggest master plan community in Chattanooga, which is Black Creek. It has a state-of-the-art golf course, it's filled with amenities, and it is massive. Now the median home price here is going to be like in the 8 to 900s, and then you can easily get to 3 million in this community. However, you're 10 to 15 minutes from downtown Chattanooga. Your biggest opportunity is actually going to be in the area right outside of Black Creek because it's still super, super affordable right there. I actually just helped out a client actually from South Africa, which is super cool. But she's moving here from Atlanta, and she actually chose to buy a house in Lookout Valley. It's a new construction because she's seeing it too. There is going to be a ton of appreciation, I believe, in that area in Lookout Valley, and it's still relatively affordable. Being this close to downtown actually has a ton of perks as well, besides the obvious of being super close to those amenities. But again, like I keep saying, like the city is right up against the mountain. So if you live close to the city, you also live close to those outdoor amenities, like your beautiful views and your beautiful hikes. Now it's going to be a lot more urban, obviously. So we see a lot of people who are younger families, young professionals, or even some retirees who like that urban life move to these different areas. So the next question is Chattanooga a good place to retire? My answer is yes, absolutely. It all comes down to affordability and slower pace of life if that's what you're into. Of course, Chattanooga is more affordable than major cities like Nashville or Atlanta, but it also has a few perks when it comes to retirees as well. And it's because you have no tax on Social Security benefits or retirement income. There's no state income tax here in Tennessee. If you want a slower pace of life, there's great communities like Ottawa, Lookout Mountain, and Signal Mountain, where you want to be in a picturesque, quiet mountain neighborhood. There's opportunity there for you, and you don't really have to sacrifice convenience to like medical facilities or major hospitals, where we have CHI Memorial and Erlanger, which has our level 1 trauma center here in Chattanooga, pretty close to downtown. The thing about Chattanooga is it's really not very big. It doesn't have a big footprint on the map, as you can see here, especially compared to like Atlanta, Nashville, or even Knoxville. So what that means is really no matter what suburb you're living in, you're pretty dang close to downtown and other amenities. So if you do want to live literally on a mountain, in a mountain town, you're going to be 15, 20, 25 minutes away from those major city amenities. Okay, so what's the job market like here in Tennessee? So honestly, a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I help out move here, they're all in a few specific industries. Number 1 being healthcare, number 2 being tech, number 3 in manufacturing or logistics, or they work for a place like McKee Foods or Amazon, or they work from home and are in tech. There's a lot of entrepreneurs here, and there's a lot of salespeople here as well. Some of the major employers include Volkswagen. We have an Amazon fulfillment center. We've got McKee Foods, which if you've ever seen those Little Debbie snacks, which are, amazing and dangerous. One of the other healthcare employers here in the Chattanooga area is actually located in Dalton, Georgia. So my wife, when she worked in the ER as a nurse, she actually worked down at Hamilton Hospital down in Dalton, Georgia, and I've seen many others work there as well. Tennessee Valley Authority is also a major employer here in the area. So the next question is, what is there to do in and around the Chattanooga area? And it really just all depends on what you're into. If you're super adventurous, I've got a few options for you. Number 1 being that Lookout Mountain Flight Park where you can go hang gliding. That looks absolutely awesome. There's also a ton of places to actually go caving and to check out caves and taverns, which is super cool. And like I said before, mountain biking and rock climbing is a super popular activity in the area as well. And you go on hikes here and there. There's plenty of opportunities for hiking and seeing waterfalls and going in blue holes. For example, during summer, one of my favorite spots for blue holes is Big Saudi Creek Gulf. It's absolutely beautiful. You can also go to Fall Creek Falls, which has one of the biggest waterfalls in Tennessee. There's also other state parks like Savage Gulf State Park. Again, you can go to Chilhowie or the Cherokee National Forest if you want to go river rafting. That's, again, a little bit more adventurous, but there's also, if you're not into outdoors, there's also like farmers markets. There's a ton of seasonal events as well. We have food festivals, we have music festivals, we have events within the city as well. So I think there's really a lot for everyone. Question number 10 is, Evan, why did you move here and why are you still here? So a little bit of background about myself. My dad, he was in the military, and so growing up, I moved all over the place from East Coast to West Coast. I even lived in South America for a little bit in Lima, Peru. And so I got to experience a lot of different places and living in a lot of different places. I've spent a lot of time in Florida, North Carolina, Arizona, California. What draws me back to Chattanooga every single time is really three things: cost of living, the scenery and geography, and the culture here. It's still one of the most affordable places to live in the United States, and it's great for growing families. And we absolutely love the outdoors. We love the country life. You know, we love being able to be super close to the city amenities. Although it is a smaller city, you kind of have smaller town vibes, which is nice, but you can get super rural super quickly. And if you love the outdoors, you love mountain views, and you love a slower pace of life, then you're probably going to really, really like it here. Again, guys, I am a licensed realtor, so as much as I love making these videos, I love helping you guys with your real estate needs even more. So in any of the ways down below, feel free to contact me. And what I'd love to do is hop on about a 30-minute Zoom call with you just to pinpoint certain areas that might fit the bill for you. And I'd love to earn your business. If this video was helpful, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below if I missed anything, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.